Jonesy, semi-final week, does it give you an extra spring in your step as you get out of bed this morning?
Yeah, it's funny, 36-year-old, you'd think you'd have a lot of, or I'd have a lot of experience to call back on. Whilst I have, it's a new experience, it's with a new group, it's a new scenario, and I'm very much looking forward to it. You know, the boys have performed really, really well at the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's probably that half-time at Cass. We're going at half-time there, we've let far too many tries in, and we've sort of looked around the changing room and said, look, are we going to make something of this season? Are we going to go out in the second half and give us something to smile about? And we did. I remember speaking to you, Phil, afterwards the game, and some really big highlights and positives, and we took that into the next 2 games against Salford and Huddersfield, and conceding 2 tries in 2 games against 2 teams who can really attack. It's just phenomenal, and that's the form you need to be in when you're playing playoff and semi-final football. So I'm really excited. I trust in my team's abilities. I trust in what Brian McDermott's and Barry Eaton and Jason Davidson's put into practice on the training field, and we're just looking forward to going out there and putting that into practice now against Hull FC. Because it's been 24 months since we've been in this position, do you feel, do you appreciate it more? Yeah, I think so. I think certainly last year hurt a lot, and I think, you know, if you wound the clock back and looked at some of the footage when I've been interviewed last year, I talked a lot about the positives of adversity. I go into schools now and community clubs and talk about the power of adversity. And whilst it hurt at the time and it was horrible to experience, what we learned and what we've come out of it was phenomenal, and I think we're seeing the fruits of that hard work and the labour that's come off the motivations of what's made us work so hard this year. So it's brilliant to see us in a semi-final with an opportunity like being 80 minutes away from a grand final. You know, having been through that quagmire, when you look at the squad, it's not too dissimilar at all from what we had last year. You know, we're at the Super League Dream Team launch here, and Matt Parcell, who's made that dream team, has been phenomenal for us this year, and he's made a big difference. And look at that as an adversity story. You know, James Chagiaro disappears, and it's no secret. It was a bit alarming at the time, but Matt Parcell was the blessing in disguise that come out of it, and he's been a big part of getting us to where we need to be. So as a team, we're really close-knit. We're all that bit stronger and a bit tighter for those adverse experiences we've had in the past. And look, we've got a real opportunity to come up with something really positive and really special. 2 men will put on the blue and amber for the last time at Headingley on Friday night. Yeah. Your good pals, Rob and Danny. How do you assess the legacy they will leave at this club? Well, the legacy that they'll leave for me as an individual, I'll be for the rest of my life. And I've got the nerves tingling on the back of my head when we talk about Rob and Danny. It's emotional because I love them to bits, literally. I think the Greeks, getting a bit deep now, but the Greeks have got 5 different meanings for the word love that we just quite irresponsibly translate into one word. And as comrades, they're the type of guys that you jump in front of a bullet for. You know, I love them to bits, both of them, and they'll always be lifelong friends. They've had that much of an influence over me, much like your Kev Sinfields and people like Ryan Bailey's as well, and Zach Hardacres over the years. They'll always be a part of who I am, and I'll always carry them around with me. So I see them go is an end of an era, it's the end of a chapter, and it's sad, but do you know what, Phil? What we do really well at Leeds Rhinos is celebrate events and commemorate history, and we come together in 10, 20, 30, 40, God willing, 50 years time, we'll come back, me, Rob and Magsy. And imagine Rob then, apparently his nose carries on going, imagine what Rob's head's going to look like, tiny head and a massive nose. On the end of it, it'll look like one of them doctors back in Tudor times, we're rocking around London for Black Death. But I'll see him, and we'll talk about the journeys that we've been on and the history that we've made for the great club of Leeds Rhinos, and very much looking forward to that. And Rob in particular is staying on at Leeds. He's going to be a big part of next generation, you know, passing those values and those lessons we've learned. And Magsy, whilst I still love him, won't deter me from trying to take his head off next year when he's playing for OKR. And your memories of them both, I mean, Rob's, you go back to a time when you were working in a museum in Leeds. I was working at the Royal Armouries Museum in Leeds, and I'd just signed for Leeds, and I'd heard of this other little kid from Cass who'd signed for Manor, this little midget fella, and I was manning, it was a sports exhibition, and I was manning a tennis exhibition, and there was a few rules and a few instructions, and all the kids listened apart from Rob. Rob just wouldn't listen to anything, did what he wanted, battered balls everywhere, and I had to go fetch him, and I wanted to wring it, you know, like Homer Simpson when he gets Bart, I wanted to wring his neck, and it took me a little while to get over that, Phil, you know what I'm like, when we started to give it an academy, but that soon when it disappeared, and I saw what a character Rob's been. And again, these are all players that could have probably gone off and played for other clubs and played in other competitions, maybe even played other sports and made a career out of it, but they stuck it out at Leeds because we wanted to be a band of brothers and we wanted to achieve something special. I think we did that. I think we did.
And we could make even more history in the next fortnight as well.
Yeah, how good would that be? And do you know what I see Magsy finish off by lifting that trophy? I don't think I've ever met an all-rounder like Danny Maguire, somebody who's so good at any sport, any physical activity that he puts his hand to is amazing. And just seeing him as well, the way that he's lifted in this last 3 or 4 weeks, I think Rob and Magsy have been playing like it was 2004. They've come up with some absolute magic, and I'm thinking, what is he finishing, Rob? I can't believe it. He's got another 5 years in him, but they've made their decision and that's what it is now. But we've got a chance to finish off in real special fashion, and I trust them and believe that they will do.